I'm joined by Mayor of Montreal, Valerie Plante, for a year in review. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a difficult year for Montrealers, including yourself, who has recently tested positive for COVID-19. 2021 was another year of pandemic measures, and it doesn't seem to be ending soon. We're under another state of emergency in Montreal and seeing continuous record COVID cases. How are you dealing with all of this?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult time for everybody, like you mentioned, and I feel like this time around we're better prepared because we have all this experience dealing with the first waves. And so this time, I feel like the city of Montreal is in a better position, having to deal with different, issues, whatever it's homelessness, how if we have to close down again, if there's a curfew, I feel like we're better prepared. But dealing with the COVID in general, the city of Montreal is always in support of the other level of government, of course. So we work well together.
On top of the pandemic, we've seen an increase of shootings in the city, the most homicides Montreal has seen in the last 10 years, and a drastic spike in femicides. What do you say to Montrealers to explain what's been happening?
You're right. I mean, this is it preoccupies us, all of us, and it's something we're really working on because we don't want that to become the normality. Montreal's always been a safe city. It is still a safe city, but we're seeing this increase of violent incident and gun. There's more guns in our streets. So we need to work on on that issue in different ways. And so the way we've been approaching it is doing a lot of prevention with the SPVM, but also community organization, but also working with the SPVM for gun trafficking and also working against criminalized groups. So everything is deployed in terms of human resources, in terms of financing to make sure that we have the right elements where it's needed. But it's something we are definitely going to be working on, continuing to work on because it is changing.
Several teens in Montreal were killed this year in acts of violence as well, including with guns. So how can this be prevented in 2022?
See, this is where it has to be a short term, but also a long term strategy, because we're seeing that for different reasons, there's more youth that might be engaged into criminalized groups. Though it is not exactly what happened to all those young people that have died who were killed in the last year. But I think it's important to look at the systemic reasons, but also finding new criminalized groups, the ones that are recruiting young people. Why is there more guns in our street? That is not acceptable, and we have to fight for this. And we need to make sure that the provincial and the federal takes their responsibilities, because even though we take guns out of the street of Montreal, there might be even more coming out from the border or just circulating in the country.
We're going to continue with Mayor Plante a bit later in the show. We have lots more to discuss. Thank you so much for being here.